Hi and welcome to this review of an Elite Drive throttle controller. This has been sent to me by Richard Clapham of Elite Drive. Thanks Richard. This is going to be an unbiased review of this throttle controller. Comes in a little box like this. We're going to have a look at that very shortly, see what's inside it. So I hope you enjoy. Now there's a lot of modes to choose from in here which I really enjoy and I've been playing with over the last couple of months in fact. And one of them is normal mode. So if you don't want to have anything changed in your acceleration pedal feeling or sensitivity, you can leave it in normal. You don't have to disconnect it. And if you want to go to something a little bit different, there is a learning mode, auto mode. So that will respond accordingly to how aggressive or non-aggressive you are applying the accelerator pedal. Or you can go right up to a full race mode. Now inside each of these ones I've just mentioned, there are 10 different settings. You can scale it up and down to whatever you want. It's a matter of playing around, trying things out, pushing up or down little arrow keys on the device, which we'll look at later. And you can really custom suit it to whatever you want. It's a lot of fun and depends what sort of driving you do. If you're stuck in town all day, then I think this is a great device for you if you're looking at saving fuel. And if you want to get out and have a bit of fun at the lights or you're towing or whatever, we'll get into that as well, then you're going to be very surprised. So it's going into this, the 2012 T6 3 litre straight 6 turbocharged engine. This one has a bit more horsepower, about 325 horsepower, 510 Newton meters. As you can see, it's got more mousse on this, a stage 1 ECU tune. So inside this box we can see, here's the little device here. Very small, about the size of a matchbox, but a lot slimmer. Very nice finish, chrome edge finish on it. And even a protective cover on top. There's a bunch of wiring in here too. Very simple to put together. It's not rocket science, and it will probably take you around about 10 to 20 minutes to install this. And most of that time, to be honest, is actually figuring out where you want to mount it and how to run the little USB powered cable connection up through behind the steering wheel so it's out of the way. And lastly, you get a nice manual that comes with this, and also it depicts a nice graph showing you basically the different responses in the different modes, so you can see how fast the throttle comes on in relation to other modes. So race mode here, the red, you can see it comes on very quickly. There's a steep curve in the graph there, throttle response, and then you go right down to the eco mode, which is in the green. You can see how that there's quite a bit of lag there before the pedal starts to increase, bringing the power on. So there you go. You can see at a glance that each mode has quite a different sensitivity setting. So before we do the installation, I just want to state that this device does not claim to increase power output of your car. It's not going to do that. It's not going to add horsepower in any way. Elite Drive also have that statement on their website. They don't claim that this gives you more power. What it does is simply intercepts that signal between the accelerator and the car's computer. It remaps the sensitivity, brings on the power a lot earlier or a lot less if you want to go to an economy mode, as I mentioned before. So let's get into the installation. So this is where the Elite Drive throttle controller will connect to. This is the first step of installation. Right up under here, you've got to get right down, feel up, just above your accelerator pedal, you will feel a fairly large rectangular connection. There's a little clip on the back. You just have to feel around with your finger, press that in and wriggle it up, and you will pull away a multi-pin connector, which we can see here. Here we've popped it off. You can see inside, this is the connection between your accelerator and the vehicle's computer system. Now Elite Drive do produce two slightly different kits to fit for the Volvo. In this case mine was called a 602 kit, or 602 kit, slightly different from the other kit. There's a bit of a shape difference or pin difference, I believe. So you just got to make sure that you are getting the correct one for your vehicle. Otherwise you don't want to end up bending pins or forcing something together. Okay, so you can see here we have connected one end to the outgoing wiring at the top here, and the red connection is the one which will go back on top of the accelerator pedal. Just a little note here, in the manual I discovered that it said to keep your remote key fob at least 20 meters away from the vehicle during installation. So we've tucked our wires away, connection's all done, we just need to work out where to put this. Obviously it needs to be somewhere where it's not going to be obscured behind your hands on the steering wheel, somewhere that you don't have to look down too far away from your natural driving position. And I've chosen this spot just to the left of my steering wheel. So this is the USB micro connection, similar to plugging into your phone. Just make sure that you have enough cable length before you do decide to mount it. All you do is remove the backing. You've got a sticky pad here. Just make sure you've got it all lined up, and simple, just press it on, plug it in. So again, just take your time with this cabling of the USB power connection. Main thing is to make sure there's no hanging wires that are going to get down around your feet. In my case, I took it up and over the top of the steering column in behind the dash, and I've just popped it out here. There's a nice little gap right above the steering column underneath the dash, and once it's plugged in, we just tuck the cable away and it'll be out of sight. And a quick tidy up down around the accelerator pedal obviously is one of the main safety concerns. You want to do this properly, use a cable tie, tuck it away. So that was a very simple installation, 15 minutes maybe, and half of that was just fiddling around with cables. Okay, next thing we need to do is to start it up. Make sure we don't get any funny flashing symbols. I don't know what to expect. Let's have a look. Okay, so the car's happy, the device is operating, no error codes whatsoever. Pretty straightforward. Now let's look at the buttons on the device and see what they do. On the left, that's your mode button. Again, from economy right up to full race. Each press of that button will change the mode of the throttle controller. Over on the right hand side, this little button will give you the more customized response setting for that mode that you've chosen. So every time you press that little button, you'll cycle up or down anywhere from 0 to 9. 9 being the maximum setting, 0 being the lowest setting. Okay, I've been running this around town for 2 months in full eco mode, and I have really noticed a difference, and I'll show you that graph later on from the vehicle's display. However, okay, I did put it into race mode, level number 9, as soon as I installed this and drove off, and it freaked me out. I want to go back a little bit before this installation. I did a 0 to 100 km/h standing start. Let's take a look at that now, and then we'll look at the same thing after installation and see, hey, is there any difference? Okay, not too shabby, 6 seconds for a heavy car. That's with a stage 1 tune. That's without this device connected. Okay, so let's take a look at a 0 to 100 km/h standing start with the throttle controller, with race mode selected and on level 9. Okay, so really there's no difference. And I think what's happening here is because we're launching the car, we're mashing the pedal down, foot off the brake straight away, and we're really bypassing that initial throttle response so fast that we're not experiencing what we experience at, I guess, lower speeds when we do move the throttle a few inches. You know, driving around town in full race mode is nuts. It really is. You know, that power comes on straight away. Mashing the pedal down in this case, I think you're bypassing that sensitivity curve, initial curve, at the beginning of the accelerator stroke. And yeah, to me, it didn't feel any difference. And I think you can see the time reflected that. Okay, so now at the other end of the scale, economy mode. You know, this may be why you want to get this device, because your car consumes a lot of fuel around town. Now take a look at this readout on mine. You can see exactly here that this is around town driving. This is per kilometre. And you can see that we're getting sort of between 11 and 12 litres per 100 kilometres. I've never seen this sort of readout before in the 2 years I've owned the car. You know, it's normally up around 16, 18, 20 litres per 100 kilometres. And yeah, this is like quite a big saving. If you drive like Miss Daisy in eco mode, you're not in a hurry, you're going to save gas. So from your side of the camera, guys, I know you can't really experience what this feels like. I'll take you for a spin now, and hopefully some of that will come through in this video, and you can see how sensitive the throttle can be or can't be. Okay guys, we're sitting here on a rainy day, we're at the traffic lights. I'm in economy mode, here we go. Smooth. Got to push your foot down a lot further than you drive normally. You do really notice that for one, but you do get used to it pretty quickly. Knowing that you're actually driving around saving fuel, it's a good feeling. You know, if you're not in a hurry, economy mode's perfect. Not a bad way to go. Okay, we're just coming down the hill here. There's another set of traffic lights. So I'm going to select, even on braking, we're going to select race mode here, which is a bit crazy. Slightest touch at the accelerator. Wants to go. I'll just pull over here where I can, and you'll see that even from standing still, slightest touch on the accelerator, you know, is really quite sensitive. Okay, here we go. So we're at a stop, standstill here. Slightest touch, wants to go. So it's instant power. It's a lot of fun. It's a good way to chew up your fuel. Very sensitive. It'll kick your gears down. Not much fun to drive on the motorway. Like I say, it's very, very sensitive, but otherwise, you know, there is an extreme difference between that and back down to economy. Okay, I'm putting my foot down. Smooth as silk. What's it going to cost you? Well, really only a couple of $100. 15 minutes of your time to install, and then a lot of fun playing with those different modes. You know, versus maybe thousands of dollars in Polestar optimization or ECU mapping. Sure, it's going to give you more power. Depends what you want. You might not want that. You might just want to save fuel around town, do some towing, whatever. So, you know, these little gadgets do it all. Thank you, Richard, for supplying this throttle controller from Elite Drive for us to review. We hope you can get your hands on one of these. We'd love to hear how you go and what your thoughts are.